We are now live.
All right. My very first live. Exciting.
I'm excited to have you here. Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining. Oh, look, there's a Sheri spelt the same way as my name. That's
Oh,
very
cool.
unusual. Hi, Sheri Boggs.
And
Mendy.
Mendy with an E. That's cool. Thomas, hi. This is my very first live, so I'm really excited about it. And thank you, Sherry, for inviting me and offering me this great space and opportunity.
Oh, I'm so excited. Hi, there's Syra. Nice to see you, Syra. Um, I'm going to share my screen now, Emily, so that I could show your page.
Okay, cool.
And then when it comes time for you to show your creativity tip, would you like to share your screen or what?
Actually, I have it here printed out, so
Okay,
I'll share
great.
it live myself here. Yeah.
Okay, great. Hi, everybody. I'm just going to share my screen. Okay. I've lost the chat now. That's weird. I should be seeing the chat. Emily, are you still there?
Yep, I'm still here. I can see you
Okay.
and myself and your screen.
Okay. Well, I'm going to just jump in now and welcome everybody again. And we've been doing these artists inspired by the arts sessions since February of this year. And it's quite exciting to work with people who are incorporating different art forms into their writing toolkits. And that is the focus of these sessions. And that is why I have invited Emily Lupita here to speak with me today. Emily's Substack, Artist Travel Memoir, um, is really an incredible amalgamation, if you will, of her drawing abilities and her writing, her excellence in writing. Um, and Emily has shared her journey with us through this Substack, and she's also given us the gift of her teaching. So, Emily, you grew up in the Midwest, right?
Yes, in Iowa. Woo!
Yeah, and
Woo!
an Iowa girl, and is now living in Turkey
Yes.
with your two sons. And what I'd like to do now is read a brief piece from one of your letters, because I'd like for those who are not familiar with your work to just get a little taste of it before we go to some of the questions I want to ask you today.
Okay, cool.
So, very okay. Are you seeing the letters now?
I am. I can see them from my end. Yes.
Okay, great.
Oh, there they
So
are.
for some reason, it's not showing me okay, here we go. Letter one. Okay, so Emily's going to kind of walk us through the story guides that she's created for these letters, which is part of her wonderful teaching offering for her paid subscribers. But what I'm going to do is just read a piece of her beautiful writing. I'm going to stop for a minute, um, excuse me, on this image, which, Emily, I just love the way that you present these images with, a foreground highlighted and the background dimmed slightly. Um, it really speaks to the way I kind of look at life.
Yeah.
in a bokeh kind of way. You know, if you know that phrase from photography, you kind of focus on something in the foreground and blur everything out in the back. But, you know, you could see everything quite beautifully here. And with the town in the background, the playground, the mother and child. So here I go with my gravelly voice. Let me get to the, oh, this is the,
You can go to the menu at the top of my Substack and push on the letters, and then they're all there in order. That's the easiest way. If you go to the home page, yeah,
okay,
and then
I'm
you see the
trying.
letters at the top there, the very top menu. There they are. Yep, and scroll all the way down, then you'll get to number 1.
That's what I
There's
was looking for. Thank
Yeah,
you.
there's 14 of them, 13 of them now, I guess. So it's kind of
Amazing.
exciting. But
Yeah.
yeah, this is the first one with the picture. That's in Ankara. That's me on my balcony in Ankara here in Turkey.
Okay.
Letter 1, the
Great.
beginning of it all.
Yeah, and here's the picture that I was showing you before. All right. Let me just, I need to get this thing out of the way. This year on Good Friday, I'm sitting on the balcony of my small art studio in Ankara, the capital of Turkey. As I look out toward the mountains surrounding me, the rough land heading up to Karabuk, slowly making its way north to the Black Sea, I spot a mother and son in the playground of my local park below. She's dressed head to toe in a long black robe with a gorgeous blue and pink shawl covering her hair. Maybe she is the little boy's grandmother. It's hard to tell her age as she stands with her hands on her hips, facing away from me. If I told you the story of my journey so far, of how I started out as a child myself, playing in the fields of rural Iowa, to now sit here on this balcony with this view, I don't know if you would believe me. That's why I kept detailed journals of all my adult life, of every city I visited and every country I called home, even for the slightest bit of time. So that is my little bit of introduction to Emily Lupita. And I'm trying to stop sharing now. Here I am.
Oh, hi,
So
Rena. Rena in Japan, from the Japanese countryside has joined. That's so exciting.
that's lovely. And I see Rosemary is here. Richard. Oh, hi, Florence. Nice to see you here as well. AJ, great. Okay, so Emily, we want to know how you got started as an artist, um, and you know, are you an artist who writes, or are you a writer who draws?
That's a great question because, and I get asked that question quite a bit, but I think I'm both. My parents, my mom was a child immigrant from Mexico to Iowa in the United States, and she is an artist. So, I mean, my earliest memories were sitting at the table with my mom painting. And then my father is a bardic poet, and he travels around the United States and does these incredible like chant like poetry on stage, all from memory. So he has like 16 to 20 hours of poetry in his head that all comes. He's sort of an autistic savant, my father. So and they raised me and my brothers on a homestead in rural Iowa, secluded homestead. We had self-sustaining, like we grew our own food and canned and hunted for meat and raised our own animals and sort of secluded away from society. So that's how we grew up, like without indoor plumbing, really limited electricity, no modern conveniences. So the whole sort of ambiance of my childhood was about art and nature and divinity.
So I didn't know that part about the homestead, about how self-sustaining it
Mm-hmm.
was. So
Yeah.
that really makes me think, you know, how more aligned we are, the two of us,
Oh, cool.
um, as well as you with so many other people here who draw a lot of their inspiration from nature.
Hmm.
And it sounds like for you, it was your way of life.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
and that creativity, you know, that so many people talk about kind of as an abstract,
Hmm.
may not be so abstract to you because it was just part of your everyday life,
Yeah, it's
right?
infused in your everyday life and your in the core of your being. And like one of the books I made, one of the first books I made is actually called A Childhood in Nature. And it's basically like my life as a kid out off grid in Iowa. And it's just how I guess the cover kind of sums it up how it was this beautiful my dad called it his own a stolen season, right? Where we're out there and we're watching the stars at night and there's no lights. It's completely dark and you're watching the stars and he's reciting poetry and there's a bonfire and and my mom's painting and we're chanting and just drumming and so yeah, it was beautiful and tragic both as is life. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, beautiful. Okay. So, what I think some people may want to try to understand when they meet somebody who is multi passionate, such as you are, is when you start working on a story, do you start with the words or with the image? What happens?